Welcome back to the 12th episode of the Diving Into Sports podcast with your hosts Lyle
and Nash.
Henry. Let's dive into today's topic. So we got the Barbasol Championship coming up as an alternate on the PGA Tour this week. And you might ask us, why are we doing a preview on the Barbasol Championship, which is the alternate and not the Scottish Open, the main event? Well, that's because we're going to the Barbasol Championship, and that's where most of our favorite players are playing. So it's going to be a really fun tournament for us, as for the players, because it's just unique and obviously going to be very entertaining, but the field is very interesting, very, I guess, diverse, you could say. So anything could happen, but we're going to give you a full deep dive into what is most likely to happen in our minds.
Yeah, we'll be going in round 4, so we'll be very interested to see who makes the cut. We'll be following that, so that's why the field is so important, because it gives you an idea of who the better players are and who the more amateurs are in the field. So I think that's why this video is going to be interesting, because we're going to be breaking down the full field, not just a couple players.
Yeah, I guess I can just start reading off names. How about we do this? I read off some of the names that have better odds, and we can discuss if they really have a true possibility of winning. But that's what we'll do here. So Ryan Armour has one of the best odds in this first group here. I don't think he's due on the PGA Tour. He's just been battling for a while. He's in his mid-40s, I believe, but
yeah, I mean, he's definitely had some more success in the past on his resume. He went to Ohio State. I could see him maybe making the cut, I think, for sure, but I don't think he'll get close to winning, at least if you ask me.
Peter Malnati, one of the best odds to win this week, one of the best players in the field, definitely. He's played on the PGA Tour almost every week for the past few months and beyond. He really does have a great chance of winning, in my opinion. He is notoriously known as, you guys can look him up, he has the best, arguably the best attitude on the PGA Tour. I go bring some guys up against him, but he always smiles. A bad shot, he doesn't care. He just shakes it off fast, and that's what you want to do. If you want to get good at anything, you can't get down on yourself, and he's a great example of that, and maybe that's why he's doing super well.
Yeah, he definitely has a unique personality compared to some other players, but he could definitely win. I'd say much higher chance than Armour, because he's actually had some more top 10, top 5 finishes this year. I mean, at Pebble Beach, he's right in that final pairing with Kitayama and Justin Rose, so that was a really fun group to watch. I remember him vividly from that, because I was thinking, how is Peter Malnati up here? But then I researched him more, and lately he's continued to do better. It's not like it's a early start. He is somewhat of a late bloomer on the PGA Tour, because he hasn't consistently played well, but he isn't still super young. But I think he could definitely get a win this week, I'm not going to lie.
And the not amazing odds here, but still in the upper half for sure, is Jonathan Bird. I've got to say, I don't like this pick. He's had a few not really good, but pretty good performances this year, but it's really slim to none with him. You have to have a really good week out of him I'm going to say he has a chance at winning, because he's won before, but not in a while, and I just don't think it's going to happen again for him, but who knows?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't think Jonathan Bird's going to do super well this week. I've never been very impressed by his game. I'm not discrediting the fact, because he has been, he's had very close chances to winning on the PGA Tour. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if he has won on the PGA Tour. He has won.
He actually hit a hole-in-one to win on the PGA Tour. in 2012, I think. Do the research there. But
Jonathan Bird has won the PGA Tour, but I don't think he'll win again this week at the Barbasol.
There you go. Anyway, up to the next player. How about Nash tells you about this guy? I hope you know more about him than I do. He's one of those DP World Tour exemptions. I honestly don't know much about him at all. Julien Guerrier from France.
He is from France, and he has had some...
He has good odds.
He is one of the better players in the field. Last week in Denmark, he actually finished in 30th place, so he's been playing well. And then at the British Masters, he missed the cut, but he's one of the better younger DP World Tour players, as he is 37, I believe, about 37. So he's still in shape to win on the PGA Tour for sure. So that could happen. He definitely hasn't put his name out there a whole bunch, but he has had 5 professional wins, so he's definitely used to that level. So it could happen. Julien Guerrier from France.
And then as we move on to my 2 favorite golfers are in this field, and one other who's not my favorite, but they're all in the same group together. First, I'll go with Harry Higgs. You guys have heard me ramble about him. He's playing, and I really hope we see him, because I would absolutely love to meet Harry Higgs. He's a great guy, just all around amazing.
A very big fan favorite.
Yes, for good reason. But he has good odds to win this week. He's made 3 straight cuts, and I think he has a chance. Unbiased opinion, I think he has a good chance to win. And then playing with him is Vince Whaley, young guy, good chance to win. He's one of those guys that could just sneak up on you so fast and win a golf tournament. And then also playing with them in this very entertaining threesome is my other favorite golfer with Harry Higgs for sure, Kiradech Barnra. He plays on the DP World Tour. He hasn't played on the PGA Tour since the Wyndham Championship last fall, and I got a chance to meet him in person at a tournament we went to last year on the Corn Ferry Tour, and he's a great guy. I'd absolutely love to see him and Harry doing well this week, so rooting for them for sure.
Yeah, at least from my standpoint, I have my eye on a few DP World Tour players. I know most people wouldn't maybe share that same mindset, but I do follow DP World Tour pretty closely. So, I mean, one name that I really like from Japan, who's 20 years old, very rising star, Ryo Hisatonu. He tees off at 8 a.m. tomorrow in Kentucky, or rather today, because we're recording this late. But I think he could do well this week. He hasn't really rose to the top yet because he's so young. He hasn't had very many professional chances, but I think he could do really well. And then also MJ Duffy from South Africa. He does play on the PGA Tour a lot, not as much on the DP World Tour, but he might actually be my pick to win this week, just because he has consistently played pretty well on the PGA Tour, and I like his game. I like where it's going. So I think MJ Duffy could get his first win this week. And then when Lyle met Kiradech Barnra at that Corn Ferry Tour tournament, I actually met an Aussie by the name of Jason Scrivener, who's in the field for this week, who's one of my favorite golfers. So he's someone I think could go to the top. Kind of biased, but still, I like him. He plays on the DP World Tour a lot. He hasn't played as much lately because his family, his wife just had a baby, so he's kind of taken some time off to spend time with her and their new child, but he has played the last couple weeks, so I think he could do well this week. Those are some names that I think could have some nice weeks. And then one last person, another DP World Tour player from India, Manu Gandas, who has just come on the scene. He hasn't ever played on the PGA Tour. This will be his first PGA Tour event. The only Indian in the field this week. I think his game is really good. I think he could have a good week. He's played a lot in India lately, but now he's starting to transfer over to the Deep World Tour, and this tournament is Deep World Tour and PGA Tour, so that's why it will be his first PGA Tour event. But I'm excited. I'm really excited for that, and I'm just all around excited to see some of my favorite golfers here, because it'll be super fun.
I absolutely love this field. But as we finish this up, we're going to go through what I've heard. I don't think according to the odds they're the 4 top favorites. They might be, but what I've heard just from different people, these are what they're talking about as the 4 highest chances to win. Let's pick one. I'll read off the names and we can each pick one of these 4.
Pick one and then pick another wild card too.
Kevin Streelman, Lucas Glover, Taylor Pendrith, and Peter Quest are the big 4 for this week. I gotta go with Peter Quest. I mean, Nash could be saying the same thing, but he went to BYU. He's also fresh out of college, been just getting exemption after exemption by his sponsor's exemption this week, but he's been finishing so high that I believe he has the special temporary membership now, right?
Yes, he did. He just claimed it after this week.
Did very well at the John Deere Classic. He's just on a complete hot streak. Watch out for him. If he doesn't do well, then I don't know what I'm thinking, because he's so due to get another top 5.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Quest, I've got to go here with him.
He didn't have a top 5 last week. He's so due to get a top 5 in mind.
I've got to go here with him as well after those 4 names. He would be my best pick out of those 4 because you've got to roll with the momentum. Golf is a game that heavily relies on momentum, and he's got as much as he can pretty much on the PGA Tour this week. I mean, back-to-back exemptions into PGA Tour tournaments, and he has handled it with pure confidence. I mean, both top 10s, both strong finishes. I think he could have a really good week. And then now let's go into our wild cards. I did say MJ Duffy, so I've already touched on him. I'll touch on another name, Jonas Blixt, who played really well at the John Deere Classic. Check him out in our video. We touched on him, the John Deere Classic recap. So I think he could have a good week. His game is starting to get upward again after that nice finish.
Yeah, so we have
Wild card.
Jonas Blixt for Nash's wild card, and we're both rolling with Peter Quest. Call me biased, but my wild card is gonna be Harry Higgs. Hey, he's one of the favorites. You haven't been able to say that much in his career on the PGA Tour. It's just completely true. He hasn't had many great chances to win, but I think this week he could break the ice this week. I think it could be the Higgs week, but I'm so excited to go on the final day, and we will get back to you for a solid recap, I imagine, after watching it in person. And I am just really hoping that it comes down to the wire. Some of our favorites are in the running, but there you go. Peter Quest, Jonas Blixt, and Harry Higgs as our 3 picks for the Barbasol Championship.
Until next time, thanks for joining us.
Remember, you can listen to Diving Into Sports on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Pocket Casts, and Stitcher. We'd love it if you could follow us on all of those platforms. And check out our Twitter account. Our handle is @Nash Lyle.
By the way, we're now available on Google Podcasts as well.